get the ball up in the air here. Tufts in the white uniforms with the, we'll call it baby blue trim and black trim, and the Salem State Vikings in the orange uniforms with the navy blue and white trim. Vikings control the tap as we are underway here in the NCAA field of 64 at the Division III level, and this is a first-round matchup, first of 2 games tonight here at St. John Fisher. Drive by the Vikings, up and no good. Santos off the glass with a miss. Tufts coming the other way. Cross-court pass for Engvall. Shot is up and no good. Matthews with a quick drive. Kicks it out. And now a floater up and no good. Offensive rebound is put in by Marcus Faison. Faison averages 15.1 points a game and 11.1 rebounds. So he is a double-double machine.
Yeah, Faison really key. He's the key big man, which is going to be big. Poleski, 4 inches taller than anyone Salem State has in their rotation. So it's going to be key for Faison to slow down the bigger man from Tufts.
Game's first to foul is on Tarik McCauley. And the Jumbos will inbound with Tarik Smith in front of our broadcast location here on the near sideline.
Can't forget about Smith. Smith and Pace both tied for the team league, 13 points per game for Tufts. So Smith, a very important player for the Jumbos.
No question. And you look at their scoring totals for the season. 13, for a leading scorer is kind of a low number, but they have a lot of balance on this squad. Yeah. Matthews with the drive, no. Offensive rebound, no good by Faison, and then a foul.
That's a good job there. We mentioned in the last session, Faison battling inside, but yeah, both teams very balanced as far as minutes distribution is concerned and score distribution. Both teams high scoring per game. Tufts average 83 points a game. Salem State 79 points. So both teams put the ball in the bucket a lot. And in order to do that, keep that up-pace style going, you kind of have to go deep in your bench, which both teams do.
Poleski with the foul for Tufts. Faison at the line cannot get either to go. Faison a 64% foul shooter on the year. Engvall on the baseline, up and in as Tufts gets on the board, tying the game at 2. Just underway. Glad you're with us on Cardinals All Access. Bonus coverage. This is live coverage here from St. John Fisher. Typically we handle the Cardinal men and women home games, but bonus coverage here in the NCAAs as Shaq Murray, Salem's leading scorer, drives for 2 and a 2-point lead.
It's interesting in these types of tournaments, seeing these teams that aren't quite as familiar with each other. Obviously a lot of these teams used to playing other teams in their conference, but both these teams, 2 in-state rivals, so still playing for state bragging rights, but not teams that you play quite as often.
Turnover as Salem State's Faison picks it up. One of the connections in this game, James, that's kind of interesting to me is the fact that Chris Harvey, Salem's coach, was an assistant at Tufts prior to going to Salem. So he does know the program well, and he knows head coach Bob Shelton well because he was an assistant for him for a number of years. Layup attempt is up and no good by Vincent Pace. Other way we go, 4-2 Salem looking to build on an early lead. That scoop shot no good. Loose ball fought for, and the official will say out of bounds. It goes over to Tufts.
So mentioned both teams like to play a little at pace here. I think it's a little bit, first round of the NCAA tournament, might be a little bit of nerves. Both these teams mentioned traveled. Both teams running on the court a lot. But as you see from the 4-2 score, not a lot of scoring so far. So, these teams got to get a little bit of the kinks out before they can start scoring and get moving in this game.
Both teams trying to settle in, and that will help as Tom Poleski lays it up and in, and that ties the game at 4. Poleski averaging 10 points a game. Was the NESCAC Rookie of the Year back in 2013. Faison spins, had it knocked away, and clipped the other way comes Tarik Smith, who had it stripped away by Matthews. Out of bounds will stay here. Good hands defensively by Ray Matthews.
Yeah, good defense both ways with the Poleski block, and then a great job on the other end by Matthews. And Poleski, something he's very used to doing. He averages 2.7 blocks per game. He definitely goes out, gets inside, and helps reject quite a few shots.
And it's Pileski again, backing his defender down, puts it up, no good that time, as Faison comes away with it. Fast break layup attempt, no good by Shaq Murray. And now the Jumbos come away. Pace with it on the near wing, works off a screen into the lane, kicks it in the corner for Engvall. Shot is up and no good. And a whistle. We'll have an offensive foul. And that one's going to go against Everett Dayton. Second team foul. Subs for Salem, number 35, Drew Healy. 6'9", junior forward.
Drew, 32. Tarik, 0.
And number 22, 6'2", freshman guard Sean Bryant in for Salem as well. And Bryant has the ball in the low block. And now they'll reset. Santos kicks it off. Three ball is up and good by Tarik McCauley. So McCauley gives Salem the lead again. Tariq Smith at the other end makes it a 7-6 game, and back and forth we go as Shaq Murray lays it in. Salem beat the Jumbos down the floor that time.
Yeah, and this is kind of what you're anticipating here. Both teams running back and forth, the quick pace offense, and finally they're starting to get the offense flowing when they get the ball going to the basket.
Engvall looks for help. Gets it off to Dayton, who lays it up and in. Nice move down low by Everett Dayton.
Yeah, good job. Looked like he was going to pass there. Just gave his defender a little bit off balance, and he was able to get it up and in for the score. 5
minutes into this one, suddenly the pace has picked up a bit. Salem leads by 1, 9-8. Three ball is up and too strong by Bryant. Rebounded by Smith. Dayton now drives. Lost the handle, but it's put up and in by Drew Madsen, who had checked in for Tufts. Yeah, 6'7" senior center out of San Diego.
Yeah.
Three ball at the other end, no good. And Madsen, or check that pace, rips down the rebound. Dayton pulls up. Too strong. Engvall tracks it down. And they'll settle it down with Smith.
Hardly able to keep up with this. Yeah, both teams spreading back and forth so quickly.
Smith with a nice feed inside to Madsen. And back-to-back buckets puts Tufts up 12-9.
And that's his pick and roll perfection right there. Great job there. Smith finding Madsen inside. It's easy 2 points.
Salem looking to work the high screen. Elbow jumper is up and good by Drew Healy. Big man with some nice form there.
Yeah, that was a nice stricken shot for a bigger man.
Smith with a hesitation dribble, draws a whistle. They're going to season. Obviously, they had to win their conference tournament or they wouldn't be here, but they're clearly ready to go tonight early on in this one against Tufts.
And in order to make this tournament, you got to be a good team. And so Salem just coming out here and proving that they deserve to be part of this 64-team field.
Tufts, it should be noted, made an Elite Eight appearance a year ago as Murray misses the layup, but Faison tips it in.
Yeah, and Faison.
So this Tufts team has a lot of experience at this time of the season. They've got players that have been through the battles. And again, they're ranked number 14 in the country, so they're thought highly of by the D3 voters.
Yeah, definitely. And, so it kind of takes a little bit of pressure off of Salem State, thinking that they are the kind of the underdog in this game. But, they have a lot of momentum. As you mentioned, they had to go out and win their conference tournament, went ahead and did that. And, thus far, a very evenly played game between these two teams.
13-12 game, Tufts and Salem State going back and forth here in the early going. Shot clock really hasn't been a factor here to 4. It's down to 5. And then stripped away was the ball. Stolen by KJ Garrett, the 6'4 junior out of Manhattan Beach, California. So that foul assessed to Drew Healy, third team foul. Nice look by Smith. Down low to Madsen again. So Madsen with 6 off the bench puts Tufts back on top 14-13.
Yeah, and all 6 of them been off wide open shots. He's been running the easy pick and roll game. And, Smith's been doing a good job finding Madsen inside.
Well, we mentioned that Smith is their leading scorer, or tied for their leading scorer, averaging 13 a game. Also averages 3.5 assists. And a whistle at the other end. Round matchup against, a team that is considered one of the best in the country. Tufts off the inbound, and immediately Ethan Feldman off the bench, 6'3" sophomore out of New York City, drains the 3, and that puts Tufts up 4, largest lead of the game here in the early going.
Yeah, Feldman, pure shooter, 42% behind the arc, and 96% from the free throw line, so definitely not a guy you want to follow if you're Salem State.
Fouls on number 3 for the Jumbos.
That foul was assessed to Drew Madsen, his first. 3rd team foul on the Jumbos here in the first half. So Salem will inbound along the baseline. Healy posting, looking for it. Kicks it out, and they'll reset with a fresh clock. As Sean Bryant is running the show. Healy will put it up just inside the arc. It's a long 2-pointer. So again, another nice looking shot from the big man. He's comfortable shooting it from the outside as he's knocked down a pair here in the early going. Down low they go to Pileski. Spins, throws up the baby hook. No. Fought for and controlled by Healy. And now Bryan comes away with it. Met defensively by Tufts in a nice dribble move as he sends it off to Shaq Murray. Eric Savage in defensively, number 33 for Tufts, the freshman out of South Brunswick, New Jersey. And the jumper is knocked down by Sean Bryant. That ties it up at 17. 10.5 to play as we near the midway point of the first half. Pileski can't get the baseline jumper to go. And they'll say we stay at this end, out of bounds off of Salem.
Yeah, Pileski missed his last 2 shots here. He still has to really get into the flow of this game here. But, good job here by both teams. They're tied up still nearly halfway through the first half.
Savage drives the lefty take. No. Rebounded by Healy. Quickly in transition, they find Faison down low. And a beautiful feed by Shaq Murray.
Yeah, great job moving there by the bigger man Faison. And good speed. When they have him out there with Healy, he doesn't have to play down low as much, so he can play the 4 position and afford to run like that a little easier.
Faison has 6. And now they're going to get Healy reaching over as Pileski was posting up down low. Second foul on Healy. 15 foul. Subs in for Tufts. Dayton and Pace check back in for the Vikings. Santos and Shai Davis. Shai Davis-Smith checking in for Salem State. So both teams subbing liberally here in the first half. Nice drive to the bucket, but Feldman was unable to get the lay-in. Another turnover as Pace comes away with it. Threw it toward the rim. Hard to know if he wanted to pass that or shoot it. Kind of got caught in the air. Bryan coming the other way. Lost the handle. Found the open teammate who then threw it away as Pace comes away. He'll drive and has it blocked away. But a whistle as they'll get Alex Santos on the arm. Check that. So Jacob Linlin, my apologies. I thought it was Santos. They're going to put it on Linlin, who's checked in, the 6'1 junior guard. Pace at the foul line, misses the first. And more subs back in. Ray Matthews back in for Salem. Tarik Smith, Ben Engvall, and Patrick Racy into the game for Tufts.
Both teams go pretty deep here, and we keep every time there's a substitution, feel like there's someone new coming and checking into the game for the first time.
Racy checking in, the 6'7 freshman out of Ridgefield, Connecticut. 19-18. Salem by 1 here at the 9-minute mark of the first half. And that foul will go on Racy, his first. And that is the 7th team foul. So Salem enters the 1-1, enters the bonus here at the 9-minute mark.
There's a mistake on the scoreboard. The foul was on Tufts.
It's not 3 and 7, 4 and 6. What are we doing?
Yeah, they've got the fouls wrong on the board. There are 6 team fouls on Tufts, and that was a 4-team fouls on Salem. All right, now we've got it straightened out. So the next one will put us in the bonus. Faison in the lane. Up a bit too strong that time as Smith comes down with a rebound. And they're going to get Smith. They say he hooked the defender with his arm. First foul on Tarik Smith. And that is now a 5th team foul on Tufts. Confident that that is in fact the case. Fouls starting to pile up a little bit here, James.
Yeah, just a little bit. And I should mention, neither team great at free throw shooting. Both shooting the mid 60% from the line. So
Bryan with a nice spin move. No. Salem fought for the rebound. Will stay at that end. They say it's out of bounds off of Everett Dayton. Hey, that could be a factor down the stretch, that free throw shooting, if it stays close like this.
Right, which team can execute a little bit better than the other. That could definitely play a big factor.
Salem with the ball and the lead. Matthews three-pointer up, no good. Rebounded by Pace.
Yeah.
Dayton quickly the other way. Swings it for Engvall. 3-ball is up. Too strong. Engvall having trouble finding his offense. Smith tracks down the rebound. So a second opportunity for Tufts. Smith working off a screen from Racy. Drives. Puts up a wild runner. No. Rebounded by Engvall in the lane. No. And that ball is controlled by Shy Davis-Smith. Ray Matthews will settle it down.
I think you're seeing both teams here. I mean, I think they know the gravity of this game. That was being an NCAA tournament game, but I always wonder if guys are trying to do too much, trying to do a little bit too much of that themselves here. Just playing a little out of control at times and maybe not taking the best shots.
Nice feed by Matthews. Shot is up and good by Shy Davis-Smith. So now we're ready to go as Davis-Smith toes the line. And he gets it. So the old-fashioned three-point play gives Salem a 4-point lead, matching the biggest margin of the game.
See Salem here playing small here, Faison at center, and adding in a little bit of the press.
Dayton will do the honors. Matthews there defensively. Dayton spun on him, laid it off, and then that ball was knocked out of Racy's hands. And now racing the other way is Salem. The drive and the feed, that time stolen away by Engvall. Nice hands defensively. Pace into the lane. Gives it off for Engvall for three. In and out. Racy on the offensive glass. Lost his footing, and they say he traveled. KJ Garrett will check in for Tufts.
Interesting to find out at halftime just how many turnovers there's been in this first half. I saw right there, kind of back-to-back turnovers, and actually another turnover there by Tufts to get the ball away. So you mentioned both teams here playing a little jittery here in this NCAA tournament game and making a few more mistakes than you presume that they normally make during the season.
Well, the pressure is certainly on. You lose and you're done. And these players come into these games knowing that. If they're not on tonight, one poor half of basketball, one poor stretch of basketball could end your season.
I mean, you traveled all this way. You don't want to travel all this way. Just have this be your only game of the weekend. You'd like to win this game, be able to come back out on this floor again tomorrow, make your trip worthwhile.
Yeah, that's a long ride home if you're losing this one, no doubt about it. 22-18, the drive is up, no good. Loose ball is fought for, controlled by Bryant, who feeds Faison. Put it up, and he was fouled. And that one's going to go on Garrett.
Faison, not really a volume shooter, but as you mentioned earlier, averages 15 points per game, a pretty vital part of the Salem State offense. And he's really just got the strength inside there. Only 6'5", a little smaller than some of the players that he plays on the post, but uses those big, broad shoulders to create space, and that time able to draw the foul.
Shoots it right at 50% from the floor and 64% for the line. So he's kind of right around where that team average is for Salem. Shaq Murray has checked back in.
Match up!
And one more for Faison. High shot is up and in. He now has 8. And the Vikings extend to the largest lead of the night, a 6-point lead, 24-18 over Tufts. 6:35 to play in the half. Smith's layup, good. Strong take right there, and they needed that.
Yeah, tough defense on him, and yeah, good job there by Smith to use his strength to get the ball up and in.
Faison again, short hook, that time a bit too strong. Got his own miss, put it up, no. That one rebounded by Dayton. Jumbos quickly into the back front court and finds a cutting KJ Garrett, who could not lay it in. And just like that, Salem right back the other way. A wild layup attempt, no good. And now a whistle. We're going to have an offensive foul on Faison.
And seeing this.
So that's the first foul on Marcus Faison, James.
Yeah, so Faison's important. So first foul here. He's done a good job managing that first half. But seeing a lot more of the same here. I mean, Garrett on Tufts' previous possession had the easy layup. It was a great cut to the basket. Just couldn't get the fall. And then Salem State once again rushing things and ended up with Faison forcing the foul.
And that 17th foul sends Eric Savage to the line. 1-and-1. And he will get the bonus shot as Savage enters the scoring column.
He averages about 50% from the line, so statistically.
He defied the odds right there. 24-22, Salem with the ball and a narrow 2-point lead. It was 6 a moment ago. Santos feeds Faison down low. Had it tipped away. Nice job defensively by Savage. Dayton drives, puts it up and in. That time he went right at Alex Santos.
Good job there. Controlling himself. And, that's how we're seeing these layups. Guys aren't quite controlling. That was a good job. Taking the extra second, making sure he had the ball in control and getting the easy layup.
That ball thrown away by Santos. So the unforced error brings it back over to Tufts. More subs in. Jacob Lindland returning. Ethan Feldman back into the game for Tufts. Tied at 24. 5:15 to play in the half. Garrett will put up a 3. Step back for that one, off the mark. Rebounded by Tufts. They'll get another look. Dayton wanted help. Gave it off to Smith. Smith working on Murray. Lost the handle on the way up. But right there was his teammate, KJ Garrett, who lays it in to give Tufts the lead once again, 26-24. Bryan from the elbow, right elbow, no good. Rebounded by Savage. Throws it up for KJ Garrett. And the alley-oop slam puts Tufts up by 4. That was pretty.
Wow. Yeah, from almost half court. What a pass there. And great job there by Garrett to help finish. And, I think Salem State's going to need a timeout. Quite a few turnovers. And, neither team with great assist turnover ratios. But, you got to imagine both these teams. We don't have the stats in front of us, so definitely well above their season averages thus far in this first half.
That's one of the things we'll be looking for at the half, for sure. Salem nearly lost the handle, but got it back in the hands of Bryan. They'll reset with 10 on the shot clock. Faison at the high post, turns, faces. Gives off to McCauley, drives baseline, looking for help. Threw it across for Bryan, 1 to shoot, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. So they kind of got out of sync there, and it cost them in the end, as Tufts really kind of played that good defense throughout that possession.
Yeah, it was just another turnover. And, if Bryan would have been able to catch that and shoot it, I think that would have been a different result, obviously. But, even just small, sloppy things like that, just bobbling the ball a little bit there is what ended up costing them the possession. And
that awareness, the fact that, the shot clock was winding down, and it seemed like they weren't aware that they were in danger of turning the ball over. Smith back to Savage. Cross court now, into the corner for Smith. Shot is up, no good. Rebounded by Salem. And a whistle. Let's see what the call is here. Out of bounds off of the Vikings, so Tufts will inbounds along the baseline.
I still got a couple Salem guys just fighting over the ball with each other, and that's what another turnover there for the Vikings.
Savage down low, puts it up. He's got 4, and the Jumbos lead is 6. And that's their largest lead of the game, matching the largest lead of the game short while ago by Salem. McCauley nearly lost the handle, got it back, working on Savage, drove in, tried to scoop one up, it wouldn't go. Garrett comes away with it, gives off to Smith. Into the corner they go. It is up and good by Ethan Feldman.
What a smooth stroke on Feldman.
And now Bryan quickly the other way. Tufts wanted a jump ball. I think we're going to get a foul. Let's see what the no shot. That foul is on Everett Dayton. Second foul on Dayton, 8th team foul. Tufts thought that he had all ball. Officials saw it differently as Thomas Lapham checks in for Dayton. Shai Davis back into the game for Salem.
Big free throws here. Tufts still on this 15-0 run. That could have broken it.
Missed up front end, so a costly miss there by Salem, but they do track down the rebound. As you said, it's a 15-0 run. Three ball is up, off the mark. Again, an offensive rebound. Davis is there, cannot get it to go. Tipped out to Murray, who drives in. No good, but they're going to get Garrett on the foul. Second foul on Garrett.
That was good persistence there by Salem State. 3 offensive rebounds on that possession, and Murray forcing the foul and getting back to the line. And that's good persistence there. The ball's not going in. You got to keep on going after your missed shots.
And Murray there just used his athleticism. Yeah, it kind of broken down, and he just said, I'm taking it to the rim.
Not very big as Murray. Only 6 foot tall, 160 pounds. So he wasn't muscling anyone on the way to get that ball. It was just his quickness and his will to go get it. And, good job there. He just had his eyes on the rim as soon as he touched the ball, and he got inside and knew if he didn't make the shot, he was going to force the foul and get a chance at the line.
Pileski back into the game for Tufts as Murray knocks down both free throws to end that 15-0 run and brings Salem within 7. That ball is tipped away. Good hands by Davis. And now Bryan the other way, can't lay it up. Faison is there. And I think they're going to have Pileski with the body as Davis couldn't even get the shot off. It is second foul on Pileski. 10th foul, so Salem will be in the double bonus. That was a shooting foul. He's going to shoot 2 regardless.
Pileski looked a little He looked a little incredulous when that happened, but he definitely swiped down on Faison.
Gillespie will head to the bench, checking in Drew Madsen and Vincent Pace.
You mentioned one of the things that both these teams struggled with, really, is free throw shooting. And thus far as game, at least, again, mentioned, we don't have stats in front of us, but at least it feels like both teams doing a very good job at the line in this first half.
That time Faison off the mark, right on cue.
Jinxing it both ways, though.
That's right. An equal opportunity jinx. Pace ripped the rebound down and brought it over the timeline as Tufts sets the offense. Knocked away. They say off of Shy Davis-Smith, so we'll stay at this end.
Interesting call. Probably going to go on either way on that one. That one's pretty close.
It was close. Tufts throws it deep into the backcourt where Smith is waiting for the ball. Less than 2 to play in the half, 1:45 and ticking. Check that, Smith drives and lays it up and in. Another nice take by Tarik Smith. He's got 6, and that pushes the lead back up to 8. Other end, it is blocked away by Drew Madsen.
Boy, that was a block with authority. That was a get out of here and don't come back block.
Salem will inbound along the baseline. Murray to do the honors. The drive is up and in by Jacob Lindland. Strong take by Lindland as he draws the foul.
Yeah, it was a good job here, and imagine some of these shots, they're missing layups, but now they've been making a lot of tough shots here towards the end of the half, getting fouled, and
Ethan Feldman assessed the personal as Lindland nails the old-fashioned three-point play. Salem hanging in. They weather that 15-0 run, and they're hanging in. Drew Healy has checked back in with those 2 fouls. Again, showing token pressure. Smith over the timeline. Cross-court pass. Back to Smith for 3, left alone. Nothing but net.
Beautiful shot. Smith, the 40% three-point shooter, and that was a beautiful stroke.
Jumbos lead it by 8, 38-30, under a minute to play now. Looking down low to Healy. Powers in on his defender and goes glass for 2. That's a big-time move right there.
Yeah, Healy hadn't scored since those first couple baskets early on, those jump shots, but that time getting down in the post and banging in there. You know, if you're Salem State, you're able to go into halftime down 6, or as I mentioned, they're going to get the ball back here, the shot clock, maybe even less. That's really what you got to be looking for right now.
Smith, checked by Shy Davis-Smith. 10 on the shot clock. Back to Smith. Penetrates past Healy, and they're going to get a foul on Healy, and that is his 3rd.
You didn't like that. I mean, it wasn't the hardest of fouls there, but yeah, it's a tough way to get your 3rd foul, especially with the way he's played this first half. I mean, he only had 6 points, but he's been really active in the few minutes he had been out there.
You get the feeling that they need him on the floor here tonight, that if they're going to find a way to get over the hump and beat this Tufts team, he's going to be part of the solution.
Definitely, and so big 3rd foul. It's definitely going to be something to look at in the second half here, how he's going to play with those 3 fouls.
Smith at the line. He'll get the bonus shot. 7.8 seconds left in the half, so Salem will have time to presumably get a good look here before we get to the half. Smith gets the second, extends to an 8-point lead. Ryan over the timeline. 4 seconds left. He'll put up a three and got it. And that brings us to the half. After 20 minutes of play,